Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm going to be getting into the to pull or not to pull video for Glenn's new Viking banner. I know they say pirate, guys, but it's a Viking banner. Let's be real here. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I am so psyched that Glenn got something great, and I really do think that this banner is absolutely fantastic for him. Like, the one drawback for Glenn is that he doesn't have as well of a built-out kit as some of the other tanks do. You know, like Angeal, Barrett, they have a lot going on for them in terms of tanking builds, and Glenn is kind of playing catch-up. I feel like Glenn in the game, the developers didn't really know how to place him for a while. He's finally finding his niche, and this banner is literally exactly what he needed to get, in my opinion. I'm so glad because I could have seen him. Angeal has a weapon on this banner, which I'm not a super big fan of, but I could have seen Glenn getting a banner with like a weapon like Angeal's, and that's just not what he needed whatsoever. So I am super psyched to see that it is here. I'm going to give a quick thoughts on this banner right here, just because this one is so interesting, guys. So like, this is meant to be like a new player return, or beginners returning, or any type of like starting the game for the first time or again, and kind of getting back into the game. And so this one has like a bunch of weapons on it, guys. It doesn't, all the limit break weapons are featured, so you can't wishlist them. So they're already featured, and what's great about it is that you get 4, if you go to the stamp card, you get 4 guaranteed limited weapons, and these are solid limited weapons on the very first page, guys. Now, some of these weapons I would say are worth going for, others I do not think are worth going for. So let's take a look. The Bahamut Greatsword, I think for most people it's probably an easy skip, you know, unless you're like 1 OB away from, you would want to get like OB6 to OB10 on the Bahamut Greatsword, right? So if you're like an OB away and you can get a free copy and that's going to get it, that's the reason I would go for it. But in most circumstances at this point in time in the game, I think Bahamut Greatsword is skippable. I think Blue Daffodil Gloves is definitely a good reason to go in this banner. The #1 reason to go in this banner would be for the Blue Daffodil Gloves, guys, because Tifa is an all-around amazing DPS. You know she's always going to have great stuff, so you know, she is just fantastic, and having the exploit weakness is really solid. This is an easy way to get it. Crimson Staff, second best reason to go in on this banner. Not as quite of a high priority as Blue Daffodil Gloves, but also very good. Raises magic attack for the team, and breaks magic defense, I believe, in an AoE. Yeah, all allies, all enemies, yeah, so it's full AoE. The weapons I don't recommend going for this are Tranquility, Stream Slasher, and the Bahamut Greatsword, right? Bahamut Greatsword is like on the edge. It really just depends on your account, but you know, if you are trying to build a DPS and you miss Tifa's exploit weakness gloves, you know, this could be a great opportunity to go after it, guys. Plus you get the costume at the end of it right here, but overall really solid banner. It just depends on your crystal setup, what's going on. Remember that Dragon Quest collaboration is in August and the 2-year anniversary is in September. Alright, so that being said, let's get over to the new Glenn banner. Does he not look absolutely badass, guys? This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is super, super, super cool. I think it absolutely fits him so well. Now, if we go in here and we look at this, like, his posture looks a bit strange. It kind of throws it off how he's like so hunched over. But other than that, I feel like the costume is super cool, guys. It has total Viking vibes going on. I do not know where they got pirate. Like, who came into this and was like, that's Pirate Glenn? If I ever thought I would see a Pirate Glenn in the world, that's exactly what it would look like, right? Who said that? Because my guess is nobody, but somebody did, guys. Anyways, the axe is super cool. The costume, I love it. So 10 out of 10 from me. Then we get the Pirate Captain gear. It's fantastic. Also, such a good costume, guys. It's like an upgraded Electro armor for all of you guys that were here in the game for Electro armor for Barrett. That was like so game breaking at the time. It was so good, right? So we get Reprieve in the first slot, right? For a tank, fantastic. And then we get Pirate Pauldrons, HP 10%, physical magic defense plus 20%. Just all around fantastic tanking costume for basically almost any situation. This is going to be great, right? I'd say 99% of the time. And I'm a sucker, guys, for a costume that can, or something that has a bunch of uses, right? We're trying to get the best bang for our buck, and when you get a costume, a weapon that does many different things, then it's super valuable, in my opinion. The more niche something is, the less valuable it is, except for when in that one niche moment where you actually need it, right? So super solid costume. Then we have the Pirate's Glaive right here, all right? Now, before I get into the Pirate's Glaive, let's go over and look at Glenn's setup. Now, I don't have all of Glenn's weapons, so it's not going to be like a total, what would you call it, like showcase of him. But I'm kind of showing you guys this just because, you know, he has such a lacking kit in comparison to Barret and Angeal, and that's like the only weakness of this banner, is that Glenn himself. The banner itself, amazing. Glenn as a part of the banner is some complications. He does not have any imperils as far as I know. He could have one on an event weapon or a summon weapon, but that's not really the kind of imperil that I'm talking about. I'm talking for something that can go high on the first cast, you know. Then he has like the Mithril Rod equivalent in the Hardcore Squad right here, but there's not very many things in his kit that kind of complement tanking. That's why this weapon, I think, is going to be so good, because he can slot this and then slot in another weapon, and then he's giving the characters like a Blood Absorb effect that can go up to 8% back, so that every time they do damage, they're getting healed by up to 5 to 8% of their health, with this, which is fantastic. So, you know, the thing is that Glenn is going to be an investment if you're going into him, right? Or you're kind of opening up avenues into the future. But as of right now, you know, he'll have his little moment to shine, but he needs a lot of stuff in his kit in order to fully flesh him out. And so I'm going to say that's the one weakness here, guys. If you're hurting for crystals and you're wondering what to do, I think that if you, in this game, I would say probably 80-90% of the time you can probably get away with just building one tank, right? And then there's going to be circumstances where you need to have Angeal over Barret or Glenn over Angeal or etc. And so it's good to have kind of like, you know, be kind of slowly looking at all of them over time, especially with featured banners and wish list weapons, stuff like that. It's going to be a lot easier, right? So, you know, that's the kind of thing in the future. Now, for me, I really like the banner. I love the costume. I think it's well-rounded. I think the weapon is super cool. That's just my one concern, is that, like, you know, how many things will I really need to have in Glenn's kit in order for him to really be useful in a lot of situations. But I will say that Glenn, with his ultimate weapon, is now officially the best single target tank in the game. He's going to be extremely tanky with this build, guys. This weapon is going to be so helpful for the overall team. And, you know, and my friend told me this banner kind of reminds him of a Limit Break draw banner, and I think that it is overall very, very, very solid. One of the best featured banners that I have seen in a long time. Now, if we look at this Pirate's Glaive, and we'll go through each of the OB1, 6, 10. All right, so we're going to have 520% physical non-elemental damage, all enemies, provoke and veil at 6% veil at OB1, 8% veil at OB6, a 10% veil at OB10. All right, and it's going to apply this new skill called HP Gain, range all allies, duration 30 seconds. When triggered, restores 5% of target's maximum HP. This will go to 6% of target's maximum HP at OB6 and 8% of target's maximum HP. So basically, every time they cast a command ability or ultimate command ability, the character will get healed by 5% of their maximum HP. So drop overspeed with full ATB, and you get off like, what, 4 attacks in a time frame of 12 seconds, and you can heal 20% of their total HP. I mean, pretty solid. I mean, and even if this was OB10, that would be, what, 32% of their total HP? So pretty damn solid. I mean, I want to see it in action. It sounds really cool on paper. It's hard to, like, you know, see it on paper and then try to imagine, but it does seem like it will be pretty cool. Then the R abilities, thank God, they like actually match the character type, they match the class, they match the weapon, they match Glenn. You know, when I saw the R abilities on Aeriths, I was just like, well, I mean, I see why, but I feel like they can be more creative, and I feel like this is more creative. So here we get physical defense, magic defense, double physical attack boost, and X sigil break right here. All right, now let's take it to OB6. All right, so we'll still have provoke, 8% veil, 670% AoE damage, and the HP gain goes from 5 to 6% right here. Physical defense at 40, magic defense 27, so overall super solid. And then you take this amazing axe to OB10, you get 800% physical non-elemental AoE damage, a full provoke, 10% self veil, applies HP gain that restores up to 8% of targets. So they're basically healing for almost 10% of their max health per hit, which is insane, guys. It is a very strong build. Now, I don't think there's necessarily any reason to pull right away for this banner. It ends on June 11th, so we still have some time. You know, if you guys are kind of on the fence, I do not know if this weapon is going to be viable in this Guild War or not, but we will find out sometime in the next few days. Whether Angia will be viable as well, who knows? Who's to say? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I think that, you know, for me, I'm so tempted, right? But like, I think that if I pull this banner, I'm basically like on lockdown saving until August and the 2-year anniversary. But I really would love to get something well-rounded for Glenn that would like check a box for me. So overall, I would say that, like, guys, in a lot of the stuff recently, for a stamp of approval, like, this is the one that I feel like is super solid in my opinion. For all of you Glenn fans out there, like, congratulations, you finally got something so sick. I've been rooting for you guys, and this is super cool addition to his kit. So, you know, I think it's hard to say what's on the horizon, but, you know, if you have the crystals, I think, you know, obviously when you pull the banner, like, first stamp card, get to the costume, get out, you're done. You're not going past the first stamp card, at least in my opinion. That's my recommendation. But yeah, I'm super curious to see this weapon in action. I'm also curious to see or hear your guys' thoughts on this weapon. Do you guys think it's sick? Are you guys amped on the costume? You know, definitely share with me in the comments and we can all kind of talk about it. So that is going to conclude my to pull or not to pull video. Super cool to actually have one that I'm like super psyched on, because I feel like I'm pretty critical a lot of the time, but this one I am amped on. So, you know, I'm a little bit hesitant with only 49K right now, but I'm thinking that I'm probably going to go for it. So anyways, guys, I wish you guys the best of luck if you're pulling. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.